Going live.
What's up, legends? Quite sure we are live. It is Monday morning, 9:02 here in Sydney, Australia. Beautiful day. And if we haven't met, my name is Yanni Burmeister. To my left, your right, is Richard Lillies, aka Richard the Rig. We are head coaches
Howdy.
and co-founders of Unity Gym and the Unify Movement System. We turn driven people into athletes, just like yourself, strong, flexible, fit. If you haven't already, jump over to the UMS Movement Mastermind Facebook group. Over there, you can grab our 20-minute flexibility routine for free. You can also grab our 2 UMS warm-ups, one for the upper body, one for the lower body. And you can join our 5-day flexibility challenge. It's designed to give you a breakthrough in your physical training. And I'm pretty sure it kicks off next Monday. We do one a month, and we only take a small group of people through that. You'll be working directly with Rad. And if you're watching on YouTube, before we get started, we've got a great topic today about weightlifting belts, part 2. Smash the like button on YouTube, guys. It does help us. It helps hack that YouTube algorithm, and I'm going to do it right now myself. Welcome to everyone joining us live in the Movement Mastermind Facebook group. I'm just updating my page. How are you, Richard?
Great, Yanni. Nice relaxing weekend. Ready to kickstart it all again today on Monday.
Absolutely. We got lots of coaching to do this morning. I'm going to be writing emails. We've got all sorts of cool stuff happening. But before we do that, we have a follow-up show and discussion regarding our show that we did last week on weightlifting belts. And it comes off the back of, we usually try to respond as quickly as possible to anyone who comments on the videos. And we got CXA011500 commenting 2 days ago saying Clarence Kennedy doesn't use a belt with the shrug emoji. And, he's absolutely right. From the little amount of information I know about Clarence Kennedy, he's an absolute beast. And I would call, arguably a bit of a freak of nature, like he's obviously dedicated a large portion of his life to his training,
Yeah.
and he's amazing at acrobatics. He's an incredibly strong dude. And
Mm.
from what you can see in the videos he posts, he doesn't seem to use a weightlifting belt. And so we're going to talk about that today. Does that mean that you shouldn't use a weightlifting belt? It's a decent question, and Richard has responded to the comment there, I think, very well. And I think it's really important that we discuss this because, you know, it's I guess everyone's choice, and you don't have to. We're certainly not saying you can't. And Richard said this in the comment. We're certainly not saying you can't get strong unless you use a weightlifting belt. What
Mm.
we are saying is that, and what we said in the show, if you missed it last week, I think it's important that you pay attention to what the world's strongest people are doing in all disciplines when they train for, whether it's Olympic weightlifting, whether it's powerlifting, whether it's strongman. The majority of them, and I can only go off what I experience, and what I've done in research. Now, we've had some of the strongest people in the world. We've been very fortunate to own a gym and have them train in front of us in the gym in person and become very close friends with a lot of these people.
Mm.
And I can guarantee you that they all train with weightlifting belts, the people that I know.
Yeah.
And so we've adopted weightlifting belts because for the majority of training, not like this whole last month, I've done a phase of training where I wasn't using a belt, but I was doing body composition training. And body composition training means very high volumes, sub-maximal weights. And, using a weightlifting belt under those circumstances, it's just hard to breathe. And when
Yeah.
I'm doing sets of 10 reps and then a very short rest, so a short rest for me is 60 seconds, straight into another compound exercise, I'm doing alternating sets where I'll be doing a squat and a chin up, or a squat and a bench press, or a deadlift and a bench press, or something, and I'm alternating back and forth, 5 or 6 big bang for your buck exercises, not a lot of rest. And then I do a couple of auxiliary exercises afterwards. Do I train like that all the time? No, I've just done a 4-week block. It's a weight loss block. I wanted to reduce my body fat and increase my muscle mass or maintain muscle mass. During that phase, because I'm not lifting super heavy, I wasn't lifting using a weightlifting belt. I also wasn't squatting with my squat shoes on. I was squatting barefoot, and from time to time you do these things, kind of like, rotating the tires on your car so that you're sort of mixing things up a little bit, changing things up. And I'm a big proponent of that. But when I lift heavy, when I'm maxing out, I'm certainly going to be putting my belt on, and I like it. It's also backed by research. We talked about some physiotherapists who have done a lot of research on this. Sarah Key is a proponent of not perfectly like arching or extending in the back and bracing, and if that means bracing against a belt, she has suggested that that is a good idea. And yeah, look, since we've started using belts, I certainly feel like I'm still developing lots and lots of strength in the core. It's definitely not down regulating core. And when I've spoken to some of the best powerlifters in the world, they are massive proponents of the belt, and they all have huge cores. They're very strong
Yeah.
core musculature.
Hmm.
What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I think it's really important that people understand, like when it comes to following information, like who the information's from, what are the credentials, but not even just one person. Like what is the broader sort of community's opinion on the matter mean? Um, so, for example, basing your opinion just off of one person is very limited because you don't know what that person's story is. You don't know, you know, what their training history has been like. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that you don't know about that one person. So, for you to go down the avenue just based off of one person is you're not going to have all the information at your disposal. Um, I think it's a very good rule of thumb. If you are going to adopt a training practice, a methodology, you should look at, again, like the broader consensus of what people do at a high level, as well as the science behind it. So, in terms of the belt, what does the belt do for you? Exactly that not wearing the belt does, the risks, the pros, um, and all related to your goals. Again, like if you're someone that, um, I don't know. I'm actually trying to apply when a belt shouldn't be applied, but I can't actually think of one. But uh, yeah, it comes down to your goals. Like, not necessarily everyone has to wear a belt. Like to get strong, again, you don't need one. But if you're watching these videos to get the best result, to find out what's optimal among people, then yeah, you want to be following people, the science, the opinions that basically support that, and not just one individual. Hope that makes sense.
Mm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
like so,
absolutely.
following the science. What does the science say? But as well as like not just one person at the high level, what the broader community at a high level does. So that's why we essentially adopted it because there was the science supporting it, and we also knew quite a lot of individuals at a high level that also wear it. So for us to go, nah, we're going to disregard all of that and not wear a belt purely because we think we don't need it, or purely because of one individual is a bit, it wouldn't be going along the lines of our philosophy of doing what's optimal, because clearly the research shows and from the community shows that wearing one is probably the most optimal way of doing things. Yeah. Anyway,
I
that's
mean, the
debatable.
other thing that people don't understand, and I always like
Yeah.
to look at the age of an individual when taking their experiences as valid, because I'll be completely honest, it's very hard. It's very, very hard to give this credibility, give what I'm about to say credibility until, until you've walked in these shoes.
Yeah.
When you're in your 20s and 30s, you feel like Superman. And
Yeah.
arguably, if you've trained consistently through your 20s and 30s for strength
Yeah.
and or flexibility, you'll probably perform like Superman, But when you start to get in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you
Yeah.
start to feel the wear and tear that has put on your body, And don't make no mistake, training really hard, maximally all of the time, especially if you like to train to failure and really push your body beyond its limits, it compounds over a lifetime, and you end up with a lot of um, uh, there's a lot of evidence. Your morphology changes. Your morphology shows that you've pushed your body to and beyond breaking point. And
Yeah.
those changes in your morphology, the breakdown of the connective tissues and you might I'm very purposefully trying to avoid using the words wear and tear. I don't like that, but that's the easiest way to put it. Training to a very high intensity regularly over a lifetime puts a lot of stress on your body, a lot of stress on your body.
Yeah.
It is certainly, I would argue, not advantageous for longevity. It's great because it makes you feel good, and through that period when you peak, which might be 10 years, might be 20 years, you are very strong. And you're going to feel amazing. But in your later years, it can cause you can cause a lot of damage to your body. You've only got to look at the cases of Ronnie Coleman and people like that who push their body well beyond breaking point. It becomes addictive. And I'm not saying you can't do it and survive, because there are, Jay Cutler still looks like a beast. He's a good
Yeah.
example. He's body built his whole life, and he's getting on now in that same sort of generation, and he still trains super hard. So he's been able to do it. And there are examples. I know powerlifters who are in their older years, and they're still going strong. But they're usually anomalies.
Mm. Yeah.
Most people, when they push themselves to beyond breaking point like that, they know about it in their older age, and they're usually not training anymore. So there
Yeah.
is this element that you have to take into consideration when you're training. Are you are you going to be able to continue doing what you're doing today in 10 years time or 20 years time? And
Yeah.
that certainly is a factor that I consider when I'm saying, okay, well, am I going to wear a belt or not? At the
Yeah.
moment. At
Yeah.
the moment, for the last couple of months, I've had a wrist injury from doing hand balancing, and I've been using wrist supports when I train, because I'm just trying to get over this injury. It hasn't stopped me from training, but I try to do something that's going to reduce the amount of pressure on there so that it has a bit of time to heal and get over that injury. There are times when I think it's justified to use support to keep you healthy. Remember, everybody, do you understand? Like, many people forget this or don't know this at all. What is the true meaning of health? To be absent of injury or illness. Injury comes first in that statement. Look up the
Yeah.
true meaning of health. To be absent of injury or illness.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't be healthy if you're constantly injured. You can't be healthy. You're not healthy if you're in pain all the time from your training.
Yeah.
That's not healthy. And so
Yeah.
you need to understand, are you training for, a short peak in your life of physical performance that you can talk about when you're in your 60s and 70s? Oh, I used to be able to deadlift 300 pounds, or I could bend, no, we train so that we're strong, so that we crush it in life for the rest of our life. There should be an element of your training that you consider is about longevity and health. It's not just about short-term physical performance so you can post epic videos of yourself, flipping and Olympic lifting enormous amounts of weight. And
Yeah.
so I think that needs to be remembered, or at least acknowledged, when we're talking about whether we should use training support like belts and things like that. It's not
Yeah.
just about what we can do today. It's about what we can do tomorrow and every other year after that, every other day after that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think that's all we got time for today, Yanni. Is that right? We are
Let's get into our
out of time.
coaching. Yep.
So
Thanks
see
for
you guys
joining us,
tomorrow.
everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Good discussion. It's a good topic, this one, I think. Keep the questions coming.
See you guys.